Why do we have C category minimums for the instrument approach and we're only a B category airport? It seems like the cart's getting ahead of our horse here. Number two, can you speak to air traffic procedures? Is that totally out of your wheelhouse? Those are my questions.
We can take your questions to air traffic and I can try to get answers.
The instrument approach into Heber used to be bad, with nothing changing as far as the mountains or the waypoints that are used. It went to worthless when the minimums were raised up about 1,000 feet. Used to be able to fly the exact same approach procedure and come down about 1,000 feet lower. The approach procedure minimums now are so high, I'm comfortable sending students on solo cross countries, but aircraft cannot fly near IFR. And so I would like to know, why did those minimums get pushed up?
And that was when the procedures were updated about 2 years ago?
It's been at least 2 years ago when that happened.
Okay.
Nothing changed. So either our mountains grew.
I know that flight procedures took another look at your airport, and then they also got with Terry because there was an obstruction up on the hill. And non-existent obstruction on the hill. So I know that flight procedures took a second look at them 4 years ago or so, and that's when they said, hey, we also made a runway number change, and that's about all I know about the procedures.
Yeah, I mean, they're so bad now, it makes it more difficult to fly them because they exist. It'd be easier to fly in VFR without this existing, because the 700-foot ceiling of Class E airspace would go back up. It would be uncontrolled airspace again.
Well, men's are like 25, 50, or 60 AGL, which is only 50 feet below men's VFR, which is 1,003, so it's not very useful.
Any other question for him?
I wanted to clarify, it was Dave's question, but I did want to get it clarified for you. So we just did the runway and improved some ramp and stuff, and you're participating in that from what I understood. So that is public ramp. Anyone can cross it.
Well, so I don't know too much about the ramp. I think that most of it is leased by the FBO. Okay. So.
But I'm coming backwards on the comment. You said a new person.
It's public ramp.
Okay.
Anyone can park their plane there. They may have to pay, but they can park there. Is that correct?
Well, I'm just going off of Dave's question. If a new participant, FBO, wanted to put some ramp in, would you participate? And you said, well, not if it wasn't public.
Correct. If it's public, we'll participate.
So because you participated, what does it, so then it means it's all public, so what does that mean?
That anyone can park there.
Okay, so the existing ramp we have, anyone can park there.
That's my understanding. Help me out, Terry. Anyone park on the FBO?
Yeah, but they have to pay.
Right, that's fine.
An example, just stepping in, in the last pay improvement, the current FBO built extra ramp. It's public ramp. It's, they funded the cost. City's getting reimbursed for it, and that would fall under similar to what Dave asked, I believe.
Correct.
But it's leased. It's in the FBO's lease, but it's public ramp. Anybody can park there, but they may have to pay over parking lot fee or whatever.
Well, it's a new understanding of public to me. I go down the highway because it's public. I don't lease it from some private entity. If it's public ramp, it's public. If it belongs to the leasehold, it's leasehold ramp. I'm having a hard time sorting that through, especially from the question. If you said another FBO wants to build ramp, you said, well, as long as it's public. Well, of course it'll be public. You're just going to charge for it, right? And then it's okay, and you'll participate.
I don't know what your lease would be with a second FBO, but as long as anyone can park on that ramp, then it would be eligible for participation.
So anyone park doesn't. That's a separate question than what the cost would be to park. I mean, anyone can go to Disneyland, but not everyone can afford it, so it's only available if you can afford it.
The FAA doesn't pay for parking.
I understand, so
I don't
having it
think
be
the
public is a separate question than what it costs to use the public land. Is that right?
I wonder if I could word it just a little bit differently, just to make it more difficult for you. No, okay, anybody can park there. Okay, well, anybody that is the leasehold's customer can park there?
Well, depending on your lease. I don't know what your lease would be.
No, I mean, say a business opened up there and they have to put in ramp space, okay?
Yes.
Now, anybody can park there, they're going to be charged for it, but as long as it's a customer of that leasehold.
As long as the FBO doesn't say you cannot, no one can park here, only I can park here.
We mean no one, only I can park here.
Only if the FBO restricts that apron to only,
His or her customers, or?
I'm not going to say customers, but if the FBO restricts that apron and makes it non-public, then we cannot participate.
I'm confused and I asked the question.
Maybe clarification out for me. I mean, if hypothetically, I think some point in time, bring in another FBO. The FBO comes in and says, hey, we want to build XYZ acres, or land. What I'm hearing you say is the FAA would participate as long as it remained public. Even though they would have a lease on it, they could charge whatever fee they want as an FBO, new FBO. We have an existing FBO, they do the same thing. And the FAA would participate as long as that FBO agreed, as long as the city is a sponsor in their lease to that FBO, maintain it as a public ramp. Anybody can use it except that type of thing, which is typical of just about every airport I've ever been, type. So, but that, I guess, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's a public plane that didn't choose to tie down to cross it because it's public space.
Well, I don't know what the lease with the FBO would be. I don't know the answer.
But is there anything you care about it being? I mean, if it said you can't cross it, is that okay with you?
If you had an area that someone could not cross, I would not call that public.
We're getting to the question, okay. So to be public, anyone can cross it. They can tie down for the leaseholder's fee, whatever that is, but anyone can do it, right? Has to be open to anyone that wants to pay that tie down, right?
Yes, if they tie down. I don't know the details of your lease. If someone can cross it, if they have to pay. I don't know that. That's the city's lease.
Can I ask for a consultant to come up and ask some questions?
Sure.
Come on up Kristen,
Yep.
he's going to be asking you questions.
Nice.
Stay right here.
It needs water. What do you got in the water?
Jeremy McAllister, TDA Engineers. Kristen, thanks for stopping by, and I did have a couple of questions, if that's all right. You sent a letter, or John Bauer had sent a letter to Mayor McDonald on May 19th, and I just wanted to ask a couple of questions relating to that. Fifth paragraph down in the letter, and I'll just read it for your benefit, if you still have it. It says, additionally, the city has agreed to grant assurance number 21, compatible land use. This assurance states that the city, quote, will take appropriate action to the extent reasonable, including adoption of zoning laws to restrict the use of land adjacent to or in the immediate vicinity of the airport to activities and purposes compatible with normal airport operations, including landing and takeoff aircraft, close quote. So the question I had relating to that part of the letter and also grant assurance number 21. You know, as you're well aware, the airport shares a boundary with another sovereign municipality, Daniel. So the final question here, what are ways to coordinate compatible zoning policies with the neighboring municipalities that other airports have found to work? And, you know, one of the other grant assurances, and I don't know the number offhand, but talks about working with neighboring municipalities. I would have to pull up the grant assurances, but it seems to me to fulfill both of those obligations or those assurances, there's got to be some compatible zoning policies that have been found to work, and maybe that would help our community with some ideas on how to work and fulfill both those obligations at the same time. Sure.
So in the letter that my manager wrote last month, I think that we're most concerned with the land in the RPZ and the grant that was issued, and we really wanted to state that you know, in the past maybe the sponsor hadn't done a great job with land use. You know, we had an easement, or the city had an easement over that land, and the easement was not strong enough to preclude uses that are not compatible with airport operations. And so that's why that part was included in the letter. But I would say to Jeremy's question about coordinating zoning policies, you know, with Mr. Duggan on the airport board here, it might be a good way to help with the neighboring community, since you were, you know, with the city of Daniel for a while. But maybe have some, I would just say it's a process of working together with your neighboring communities and talking about airports and, you know, what goes along with airports, and how do you keep that land use surrounding the airport compatible with those operations. And then I don't know if there's county land around, but maybe you work with the county also and try to implement, I know zoning is a four-letter word in a lot of areas, but implement some sort of standards to show that this, you know, this is an airport, and you want to have compatible land use around the airport. And a lot of times we look at that in the master planning process.
Kristen, you'd be happy to know that Councilmember Kristen did give a lot of airport information to our planning commission, because we were totally floored that allegation easement did not, you know, take care of that. And we were really frustrated with it too on the city council. And we tried to ask over and over again, do we have enough right now in place? And we really do need to look at it more. So you know, we understand that. So you're saying that Mr. Bauer's letter is only referring to the Maverick property in that instance, in that part of the letter?
I think that we're most concerned with the Maverick property at that stance, but you know, it is good for you to take a look at your zoning around the airport now as well.
You can see that we changed the bylaws just last month to include someone from Daniels, right? We are trying to move in that direction to do what you want us to do with those land policies. Thank you.
Part of, if you could maybe even help us, I was looking at the Maverick problem while I was being elected. And then I came in January, and we had to face that decision. As I discussed that with Mark, our city manager, he had said that the easement wasn't strong enough. I thought you were a participant in those easements and what they would be. So did we miss it? Did you miss it? Did we together miss it? But I wasn't as strong enough.
A long time ago when we bought that easement, I would say that we couldn't have predicted what would have happened on that land. And
Or any land.
At the time, I think that whoever wrote the easement did their best to protect the airport. I would say that the FAA always tries to purchase land and be simple so that we do not have this problem in the future of easements that are not strong enough to protect the airport.
Well, I guess what would be helpful going forward, the Maverick happened, okay, it cost us a lot of, everybody some grief, okay, and FAA a lot of money and us a jump, and we lost the business, but it wouldn't have happened if it had been zoned right, okay, And it wouldn't happen if the easements would have precluded a gas station. And you say that those easements you have were a long time ago. I guess the question I have is that, so we don't end up with a Chevron next door to the Maverick property, what easements do we need to be looking at getting, or as you said, preferably land purchases, or at a minimum some zoning going forward, because there's been no zone changes since. The land all around it still zoned just like Maverick was. And I have asked in 2 or 3 council meetings and 2 or 3 airport board meetings, and finally we did pass a comment in our last airport board that we would ask the planning commission to be sure and address that. To the planning commission's defense, they probably don't have a clue what needs to be in the zone to protect the airport. So I know there's going to need to be some coordination. But is there any kind of something you could send that I could give to the planning commission to go along with the resolution? I think it was a resolution or just a motion that we passed last meeting saying that we're asking them to do it. I'm not talking about Daniels or the county. I'm talking about our own city. Something you could give them as guidelines of what should and shouldn't be allowed in an RPZ area.
Well, definitely in an RPZ, we don't want congregations of people on the ground.
Well, but that's one thing, but anything you don't want, if you could send me something to say that, so that...
Sure, and thank you for looking at the zoning around the airport. That is very important. And I would like to address the RPZ that was purchased, and thank you so much for approving that. I agree it was an expensive piece of property, but by purchasing that property, I think that the cost of the property is small compared to the cost of a potential crash into a gas station.
Well, buying the high school will be real expensive.
Hopefully they won't get that far.
So if you could send me something that I can give planning commission to say, here's, I mean, even the county, Daniels,
Sure.
whatever. These guys aren't airport pillars. They're not on the airport board. They aren't in these meetings. But they're who needs to initiate any zone changes. And we are presently in the city in the process of a form-based code type master major zoning change. Now's the time we need to put those in place.
I would say in any runway protection zone, the RPZ, you do not want congregations of people on the ground. We also like to keep roads out of the RPZ. We like to keep parking lots outside of the RPZ. So that's just a start to the list, but I would say no congregations of people, no roads, no parking.
So 189 would be a problem?
Well, you know, 189 does go through the RPZ. At this point, it's grandfathered in until we change something. So if we change the dimensions of the RPZ, we have to take a second look at it.
So if we were to move to a C2, it would be even more in, wouldn't it? It goes clear across.
I don't know the exact
So
location.
let me ask it a different way. Assuming the new RPZ of a C2 would cross clear over 189,
Okay.
would that, and it would be a new plan, would that be a concern then, what we do with 189?
You know, the FAA would take a look at it. We have an RPZ policy that I can send to you. And we'd like to, you know, we would take a look at the costs, the benefits, you know, analyze those types of things and figure out what the best solution is with the city. I mean, ultimately, it is your decision what to do with the airport, the roads around there.
Well, it's not our highway, that's the other, I mean, it's state highway, but, so that policy you mentioned might be what I was looking for the zoning people. The RPZ's policy would tell them what shouldn't be in the RPZ area at least.
That's true, in the RPZ at least, but there's more to airport zoning than just the runway protection zone. So, yeah, that's a good start.
I mean, I was struck as a citizen to say, well, we don't want a Maverick here, but we've got a great big tall bus garage that's built not too far from it, and that seemed to be okay. It's the people you're more worried about.
I'd be concerned about what's in those buses myself, and that they are so close, but we have no jurisdiction over the school district to prevent that. They don't have to come to us for a building permit because of state law.
Well, thank you.
I think I can find you.
I'll go ahead. I wanted to open it up a little bit to some of our visitors and try to wrap
Well,
this up.
Jerry's got, I got away his other
Okay,
questions, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Last question. again, looking at the letter, and it references specifically a resolution that the city passed recently, 2016-9. In the letter, it says that with the passage of Heber City Resolution 2016-9, the city is eliminating options that would otherwise be considered under a normal planning process. Scrolling or going down further in that paragraph, it also says that the resolution has compromised the validity of the master planning process. And then the last sentence in that paragraph says, by eliminating certain options for the airport, the city is reducing the effectiveness of the planning study to analyze the safety of current and future operations at the airport. You mentioned earlier that you're not a planner, you're an engineer, and I'm very empathetic because I'm also not a planner, I'm an engineer, but I work with enough planners that I'll pretend to act like one for just a minute. But my understanding of the master plan process is that it needs to be inherently neutral. And we let the master plan and the data direct the way that the master plan goes. But when I read the resolution, and I think you have a copy of the resolution there, 2016-9, there's about 5 whereases before it gets to the now therefore. And in each of the whereases, and I'll just I'll pull out a few words from each of the whereases, but to demonstrate my point. My question is, I do not see where the city has in any way eliminated options or compromised the validity of the master plan process, and that will be my question. But before I end, citing specifically that resolution, it says whether or not the city, as a sponsor of the Heber Airport, is willing to expand our airport from B2 to a C2 standard, indicating that there's still some question whether or not that's what the city wants to do. It goes on to say, whereas there appear to be many yet to be determined or affirmed financial implications both from expansion to C2 or remaining a B2, and whereas we need to get final determination of these implications in order to become better, and then there's in parentheses, as soon as possible, it goes on, in order to become better informed in our council airport decisions, as well as being able to better inform our citizens and others who are making decisions for activities at our airport. Last whereas, whereas the city council desires to make known its present sentiments about the airport's status while acknowledging the need for help in getting the financial ramifications of not approving an expansion to a C2 rated airport. So those are the whereases, and then the resolution is that Heber City Airport, a resolution opposing the Heber City Airport becoming a C2 airport and asking a congressional delegation and governor for assistance in confirming with the FAA the financial ramifications of our choosing to stay as a B2 status airport. So I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit because, in my opinion, when I read this resolution, I see an acknowledgement that there needs to be more information, that they want to make a better informed decision, and that the only way to do that is through the master plan process. Further, my understanding of the master plan process is that the outcome should not be predetermined. I just sat there and heard that, in your opinion, this is a C2 airport. I feel like the determination, one way or the other, shouldn't be determined. And I guess my question is, what specifically in this resolution has eliminated the city options? And is there, I still believe the city wants to be better informed to make the best decision for the city. What changes, potential changes, if there are truly limiting clauses in here, what changes would need to be made in order for the city to be able to still express an opinion for their congressional delegation, but be open to and acknowledge that they need more information.